Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be showcasing Dr. Ratio with Jiaoqiu. I've been getting a lot of requests for this one, so it's here today. And also, if I do sound a little differently, I'm not currently home, so I am using a different microphone, so that would be why. And for question of the day, let me know which character are you guys looking forward to the most for a rerun. I have no clue if I just said that correctly, but I think you guys know what I meant by that. Which character do you want a rerun for? There we go. I think that sounded a little better. Also, if you guys enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and now let's get straight into it. For today's showcase, we are going to be using Dr. Ratio, Tingyun, Jiaoqiu, and then Huohuo. We're just going to be using these three foxians to buff up Dr. Ratio for today, and our victim of the day is also going to be Kafka. She is on the wanted list, so let's just get straight into it. With Tingyun, we're going to use her ultimate on Dr. Ratio just to give him more energy as well as the damage boost, and now we're also going to use her skill just to give him the attack boost as well. With Jiaoqiu, we're going to use his skill, and now we're going to use his ultimates as well. Literally let him cook with this one. There we go. Now that the enemies are in our soupy hot pot, whatever it may be, I still think it's soup. They are inflicted with numerous debuffs. They have Ashen Roast and then the debuff from his ultimate as well, and this will just increase the damage they do receive. And now with Huohuo, we are going to use her skill like so. And by the way, all the enemies actually have Force Active Ashen Roast on them, which is awesome. So now with Dr. Ratio, we are going to use his skill, get that follow-up, and now we're going to use his ultimate on the enemy in the middle here, like so. The reason we're doing this is just so we can get rid of this enemy as fast as possible, so then we can focus on this horse over here. So we're going to basic attack with Tingyun. Boom! And now we are going to get hit, but this should be fine. Okay, please don't kick Dr. Ratio in the face. Thank you very much. Now we're gonna basic attack and boom, there we go. That enemy is a complete goner. Okay, so Tingyun did get hit instead, which is perfectly fine. Now with Dr. Ratio, we're gonna use his skill with the follow-up, and now with Tingyun, we're going to just hit the enemy on the right or on the left. I don't even know my lefts and rights anymore. We're gonna hit the enemy on the left. And now with Huohuo, we are going to use her basic attack, and then we're gonna use her ultimate just to give the team more energy. I hate how Dr. Ratio was so close to getting his ultimate and then he didn't. Okay, so there we go. Now with Jiaoqiu, we are going to use his skill, and we will use his ultimate if necessary. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's just a little bit of HP. We have one turn left of the ultimate, but I want to guarantee that Dr. Ratio just gets rid of this horse in this wave. So there we go, or rather in this cycle. So we're still in the 0 cycle now, which is pretty good. And what we're gonna do is just use Tingyun's skill on Dr. Ratio. We are gonna get hit a bit here, but this is perfectly fine. So we are getting hit, but I think we'll be a-okay. Kafka's now gonna hit Jiaoqiu. She's gonna try to dominate him, but not to fret, we have Huohuo on the team, so we're perfectly fine. We're just going to basic attack with Jiaoqiu, and now we are going to focus all in on Kafka. Same idea as before, focusing in on Kafka, and now with Huohuo, we're gonna use her skill to replenish the healing as well as the cleansing. Tingyun, we're going to use her basic attack. Now with Tingyun, we're also going to use her ultimate like so. There we go. Oh my gosh, we're so close to having enough energy. We're just gonna basic attack on that enemy. And now we're gonna focus in on Kafka. Boom. Gotta use the ultimate. And now our Pillar of Doom is going to crumble on her. There we go. So we're gonna get hit. Hopefully they do not. Oh no, Tingyun dropped. Oh my gosh. Follow-up at least came through. Okay, oh my gosh, our Dr. Ratio is so low. Our Dr. Ratio is so low. Okay, he's okay. Our Dr. Ratio is just fine. We're going to be using his skill. There we go. Kafka is almost a goner. Now we are going to use our basic attack, and now Jiaoqiu's ultimate. Oh my gosh, my Tingyun. Please leave Tingyun alone. Okay, Huohuo got her ultimate. Let's go. Oh no, it's not enough energy. I think we'll be okay though. This run, this run feels a little scuffed, but I think we might have this. I think. I hope. Guys, I believe in Dr. Ratio. Okay. 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 Double ultimate time. It is double ultimate time. We got this. Oh, the dance coming in clutch. Give Dr. Ratio the energy, please. Oh no. Okay. Basic. Wabam! I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh. Basic. Wabam! Dr. Ratio! Oh my gosh, my goat. Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm going to use Jiaoqiu's ultimate just to make sure. We got all these debuffs on Kafka and we did it. We had some things that were a little scary in this run, but I think we did it. We're just gonna use Jiaoqiu's ultimate. We're going to cook Kafka. She is in our hot pot. Boom. And now the follow-ups. Okay, 1%. Boom! And I have the ultimate at the end. Yay! We did it! We got a 1 cycle with this team. Yay! I was so scared in this run that we weren't able to get it just because of the fact that some of them were getting hit a little too much, but thankfully we were able to do it. Huohuo's cleansing came in clutch for sure. Okay, now if we take a look at the builds for today, here's my Dr. ratio. Dr. Ratio has a bunch of crit rate as well as crit damage. The only thing that sucked is even if you have 99% crit rate, I swear that 1%, it feels like you hit that 1% and you're like, oh, I just didn't crit. So I definitely try to get as much crit rate as possible on Dr. Ratio, but you also want to make sure he has a good amount of crit damage, especially on a team like this where you don't have a character like Robin. Robin would be supplying you that extra crit damage, and because of the fact we don't have Robin giving us that extra crit damage, you definitely want to make sure you can get some crit damage in your substats as well. We are using his signature light cone for today's video, but if you don't have this light cone, here are some very nice alternatives. For his traces, they are maxed out. For today's relics, we are using Inert Salcedo and Pioneer, and here are some really nice alternative relic and planar options you can use. Also, real quick, let's go through the pieces one by one. Definitely have a lot of crit rate and crit damage on these pieces for sure. Now for his Eidolons, they are completely E0. And now if we take a look at the Tingyun is actually the same build as my last video. We are using Dance Dance Dance. Dance 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 is definitely going to be one of the best options to use on Tingyun, especially when you have a team that does not have any form of action advance. Her having this light cone will be very beneficial because now she has, in a sense, a way to advance forward the team thanks to Dance Dance Dance. So that's why I personally love this Harmony light cone. It's just really good, especially if you are trying to get those low cycle clears. I would highly recommend this light cone here, but if you don't want to use this light cone, here are some nice alternatives you can use. For the traces, they are maxed out. For the relics, she is using Eagle and Sprightly Von Whack. I'm using the Eagle set because of the fact that it will advance forward Tingyun after using her ultimate, which will allow her to act more frequently within turn cycles, especially if you are trying to once again get a low cycle clear. This is just a really nice set for your supportive characters. And of course though, if you don't want to use these relics, here are some nice alternative relic and planar options you can use. For the Eidolons, she is an E6 Tingyun. Now we have Jiaoqiu. Here are his stats. For his light cone, he is using his signature light cone. This is just a really nice option because of the additional debuff it will inflict onto enemies. But if you don't have this one, here are some nice alternatives you can use. When it comes to the debuffs, you can also of course consider Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat in particular, because this can definitely help with Dr. Ratio's debuff requirement for his follow-up attacks. Now for the traces, they are maxed out. For the relics, we are also using Eagle Set and Sprightly Von Whack. Same reasoning as before, just to have my supportive characters act more often. The Von Whack set is also really nice just for having these characters act very early in the turn cycle when you start off the fight. It's also nice for the extra energy regeneration rate as well. Especially for a character like Tingyun, this can come in pretty handy. He is completely E0. And now, lastly with Huohuo, here she is. For her light cone, we're using Quid Pro Quo. I absolutely love this light cone because of the fact that it will be able to give extra energy to allies when it is her turn. And this is a great way to funnel in more energy for your main DPS, or even in the case if you have Tingyun on the team, which in this team we do. This can also help with getting Tingyun her ultimate sooner, which can now help with getting Tingyun to activate Dance 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 more frequently, so that's awesome for sure. But if you don't want to use this light cone in particular, here are some alternatives you can use. I would say though, for all of you guys that are using abundance characters, I highly recommend building this light cone to use on your abundance characters, especially if you have really high energy cost characters that you are using. For example, if Robin is on the team, Quid Pro Quo can help with Robin's ultimate cost. If you are using a character like Yunli on the team, it can help with her, it can help with Argenti. There's plenty of characters this light cone can help with, and this is just a really nice option overall just to be able to use your ultimates more frequently. For traces, they are maxed out. For relics, we are using Passerby and Fleet of the Ageless. The Passerby set is just really nice for that additional skill point at the start of the battle, because I did want to use my skill on practically every character at the start of that fight. So this is just a nice way to have that additional skill point in the beginning for the run. But if you don't want to use these options, here are some alternative options you can use. For her Eidolons, she is also completely E0. So yeah, that would be all of our builds for today's video. I'm honestly a huge fan of just the team of Huohuo, Jiaoqiu, and Tingyun because they're all foxians and they're also all from the low fu, so that's an awesome theme for sure. But I will say they're all pretty nice when it comes to using them on characters that have very powerful ultimates. So let's say it's a high cost ultimate, which in my previous showcase, I actually did show Yunli with this team, and Yunli was definitely able to take advantage of the buffs Tingyun would provide, as well as Huohuo, and then also the debuffs that Jiaoqiu inflicts onto enemies. So it's just a pretty nice team of 3 foxians just supporting whoever your main damage dealer is. Of course, if you don't want to use a character like Huohuo, that's perfectly fine. You can use really any abundance or preservation class character. I just like Huohuo the most though in a lot of cases, just because of the energy she'll be able to provide for allies, which can definitely assist with getting Tingyun her ultimate faster, getting your main DPS's ultimate faster. So she's a really nice option, but once again, if you don't have her, it's no big deal. You can just use an alternative abundance or preservation class character for your team. If you are using abundance though, I would definitely recommend Quid Pro Quo, especially if your main damage dealer is using energy. If you are using a character like Acheron though, the energy wouldn't really matter, so that would be a case where you'd look at other light cone options instead. For Jiaoqiu, I really like him with Dr. Ratio honestly because of the debuffs that Jiaoqiu will be able to inflict. It can help with Dr. Ratio being able to get enough debuffs on an enemy so he can guarantee his follow-up attacks. So I'm personally a fan of Jiaoqiu just because he is another debuffing option that Dr. Ratio can take advantage of. And then for Tingyun, I personally like Tingyun because she is a 4-star, so a lot of us may have at least one copy of her. I highly recommend building her. She's really versatile with her just providing allies more energy. And I know some may say, well, Robin would probably be better here, which that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to showcase Tingyun for today because I do think Tingyun is a very valuable option and she's more than likely more accessible for majority of players. So that's why I wanted to use Tingyun. Awesome character for sure. I highly recommend building her. And lastly, we have Dr. Ratio, which he's just our main damage dealer for today. I do like the fact that Dr. Ratio can be used either on a hyper carry team or you can use him on a follow-up team. Either one is good and I'm personally a fan of his skill kit. The only thing that sucks though is if you don't crit. If you don't crit, then it's like, oh dang it, my damage. But regardless, that is just skill slash build issue on my end because we did miss a couple crits during our run. Not too many thankfully, but that's just my bad because of the relics I put on. It would have been better if we had more near 100% or even at 100%, but it's a-okay. Our Dr. Ratio was still able to put in some work, even though the run had some really scary moments, but thankfully we did come through with all of our characters. And I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I really wanted to show this off because I've been getting a lot of requests to show off Dr. Ratio with Jiaoqiu, so I wanted to show off this team in particular. You can also consider this team on potentially support the video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.